The issue of tax administration is serious business. Our aim here is to place relevant information at your fingertips so you're properly informed on such matters. This is a Tax Talk, and I am Oinlola Sally.
This is Business News. The Special Assistant to President Bola Tinubu on Revenue, Zach Adedeji, has revealed that the federal government is working on reducing the number of taxes paid in the country to 10. Adedeji said this during the second edition of the lecture series organized by the 1988 class of the Department of Mass Communication, University of Lagos, held over the weekend. The presidential aide, who is a former executive secretary of the Nigeria Sugar Development Council, stated that there were currently 52 taxes being collected in the country, which is imparting the efficiency of the collection. The federal government is here to commence implementation of the 10 naira per litre excise tax imposed on all non-alcoholic carbonated and sweetened beverages in the 2021 Finance Act. This is according to the World Bank health specialist Dr. Olumide Okunla. Olumide said the taxation of the sugar-sweetened beverages has been deferred till September 2023. This is following the announcement by Special Advisor to the President on Health, Salma Ibrahim Anas, that the Tinubu administration has committed 10% of the annual budget to health financing from the current 5%. And that's it on Business News.
Hey, Gloria. Come. Yes. Guess what?
What's up?
Oh, yes. I just got my offer letter from Mnet for the movie I sold to them.
Wow.
Yes, wow.
That's great news.
I know.
So how much are they offering?
They are offering 2 million naira with 12 months paid TV exclusive.
Wow, that's
Yes.
fair.
But wait. When you sold your movie to them, did they take tax from you?
Listen, every filmmaker who has sold content to Africa Magic already knows this. Mnet is a corporation, so deducting and collecting tax is a requirement for them by the government.
But the thing is, if they take tax from the 2 million naira they are offering, how would I be able to get my capital back?
Dude, don't be greedy.
I'm not.
We get right into the big story for today. And the topic we are treating is multiple taxation and the conversations around the subject matter. Does multiple taxation exist, or is it a myth? What views have you imbibed without actually trying to find out whether they are true or not? If you stay with us, we'll help you separate the facts from the fiction. Don't go anywhere.
Today on The Big Story, our searchlight is on the reality of multiple taxation in Nigeria, many stories of taxpayers' experience, the myth and reality. The running of government organs cannot be carried out effectively without funds. All over the world, governments of nations carry out the running of its major organs through taxes collected and in return provide basic amenities such as security of lives and property, infrastructure development, affordable health care services and power to the citizenry. This is the same for Nigeria, where tax could become a major source of revenue if the country leverages on its population of over 200 million people. However, over the years, poor compliance level has led to the loss of tax revenue. Some of the challenges include tax multiplicity, structural problems in the economy, unavailability of database of all taxable individuals or companies, which has led to poor exploration of the country's tax system. There are many types of taxes, however. These taxes come in their multiples as a result of lack of harmonization in the process of collections, which has created vacuum in the Nigeria tax system, leaving taxpayers to suffer multiple payment of taxes for particular goods and services. Some of the business owners who spoke with Tax Talk shared their experiences on the process.
I run a company called Mona Matthews, and we make very, very good quality leather shoes and handbags for men, women, and children of school age. all of them are made here in Lagos. For me, the main challenge is just getting my records right from the beginning, keeping track of my accounts, of my transactions, invoices, inflows and outflows, things like that. So what I've found is once I keep the proper records, it's really not too much of a challenge. I'm a little bit diligent in that aspect of filing my returns. So we file monthly. We make returns monthly, and we keep our records straight. We have an in-house accountant who is on our staff full-time, who keeps our records. We also have a financial manager who helps us, keep everything according to the books. So as long as we stay on top of our game, it's not been too much of a problem. And our experience with internal revenue, Lagos Internal Revenue, has also been smooth. I actually have someone you would call like an account officer who actually helps me to process my papers and make sure. She sends me monthly reminders about when my returns are due. If we're lagging behind or if there's a mistake, she alerts us, and we correct and then move. To be honest, they've been quite helpful. I find them very modern in their approach. I have an account officer in LIRS, and I listen to her advice. When she says, "Oh, madam, I think you need to do this, I think you need to do that," I listen to her and I do what she says. I also have a financial manager, so I run, this advice through him as well, and we implement. And what I find is that once we do it on time, because the problem starts when you have a backlog and you have to start paying, and all of that. But when you do it like on a regular basis, when you are advised to do it, I haven't really had a problem.
According to the National Tax Policy document, multiple taxation in relation to a company or individual is a situation where the same property, earnings, profit or income liable for tax is taxed more than once by two or more government authorities demanding the same kind of tax. However, multiplicity of tax as reported in the Nigeria system remains a subject of debate due to unavailability of necessary tools to assess collectible data on tax. While the obligation to file in annual tax returns is clearly stipulated in Section 41 of the Personal Income Tax Law, data shows that businesses perform better in an effective tax system with less cumbersome process. Meanwhile, proper harmonization of the system will help ascertain whether this is a myth or reality. Some of the stakeholders provide more insight into the effort of the government to address every loophole.
The issue of multiple taxation goes way beyond the local government. There's what you call the IPSAS ACRA, which is the International Public Accounting sector standards. So this helps you to harmonize every bill into a single bill. So the local government has what you call a single billing system that helps sort out the issue of multiple taxation. But generally, as regards corporate bodies, houses, shops, markets, there's an harmonized bill by the local government under the operations of the IPSAS ACRA, which helps us to, have a central billing system, and then that, cuts a lot of multiple taxation. So what we have tried to do in Agege as a case study is that from the top civil servant, which is the council manager, who is like the head of service of the local government, down to the last person, every quarter they go out for what you call tax force. So what this tax force does is not just to make sure the people pay, no. It's to also check for those staff. Because if a staff has come to me and collected 5,000 naira and the council manager goes out and gets to that shop, that particular person or that particular shop will tell the man, someone has come here to collect 5,000. Naturally, we will know the officer in charge of that particular area, and then we will be brought to book. And that is what we have done here to be able to cut those leakages, and it has helped us a bit. Let me make something clear. No official is allowed to take cash from anybody. All the bills sent out, like I said, are centrally collated. And on the bill, you have the stipulated bank accounts where you're supposed to pay. Local government is also looking at bringing in the POS system into collection. So for me, continuous engagement is the key. For LIRS, for instance, the kind of tax they take is different from the kind of tax we take as a local government. You understand? The state, the LIRS collects for the state. They don't collect for the local government. Local government has its own machineries to let the people know the difference in taxes, prices, categories, and how to pay. So basically, the way out of this is just continuous engagement. Once the people that are paying understand that this is how they should pay, this is what they shouldn't pay. For instance, if you have a shop that you sell food and drinks, you pay what you call merriment at the local government. You understand? If you have a shop, you must do what you call fumigation by the local government. This is a tax by the local government. So is that you call us to come and do it, or you do it through an accredited fumigation company. So these are, petty taxes that the local government collects.
Well, I will say largely it is a myth. Yes, I will say largely it's a myth, yes. The LRS is saddled primarily with the collections of the personal income tax, and then the consumption tax. We have the development levy, and then we have the capital gains tax. Also, we have the stamp duties. Those are the major heads of taxes, collectible by the LRS. Of course, people tend to look at, there are different modes of collections. So sometimes people see this as maybe collection of different taxes. The LRS is the major taxing authority of the state. And we have other agencies of government that are saddled with collections of fees and rates. And then, of course, we have the local government also that have their own levies and rates that they collect. So it depends on which area the individual is dealing with. The major difference between taxes and levies and rates is just that, you see, with taxes, there is no quid pro quo. You understand what a quid pro quo is? That means that when your taxes are paid, you're not getting anything exact in return. It's for the common use. So the governor is not going to tell you that, the money that you as an individual has paid as your taxes is going to be used to buy or to do A and B, because it's a collection, it's put into a pool. But when you have rates and charges, so when you pay for collection of your refuse, that is a service that is done for you, but done by a government, maybe agency. So people tend to confuse those two elements together. So when you're paying for a particular service rendered by government, it comes as fees. So you want to get a building permit, and so you pay a fee, then that is a fee because you're getting something directly in return. But for your taxes, it is different. So that's why people now get to get the twisting together that, they suffer incidences of multiple taxation, and it is not the case.
Research has shown that over 500 different taxes and levies are being imposed by various tiers of government in Nigeria, as against the only 39 approved by Taxes and Levies Act. However, common taxes payable by persons doing business in Nigeria includes companies' income tax, personal income tax, capital gains tax, value-added tax, education tax, technology tax, stamp duties, and withholding tax, among others. While the Federal Board of Inland Revenues is responsible for the collection of companies' income taxes and petroleum profit taxes, among other, state boards of the internal revenue of the 36 states of the Federation are responsible for personal income tax, while the local government are to collect rates and levies through their various councils, which are mainly used for community development. But how practicable is this clear distinction between the various collection agencies with regards to applications of tax filing by taxpayers?
Several people feel that multiple taxation, to me, it's really not real, because the reason why we have this is because most of the taxpayer lack the understanding of what taxes are to be paid to specific agency. Is it the federal, the state, or the local government? Having understanding of some of these taxes to be paid to each of these designations will definitely devoid the issue of multiple taxation. And the introduction of technology these days is bringing separation and classes to all the taxes that is being paid for. If you look at the Federal Inland Revenue, they just launched a tax administration portal called Tax Promax to ease the process of making payment of taxes. Gone are those days when you have to run up and down to see how you pay your taxes. At the comfort of your home or your offices, some of these taxes are being paid. And there are specifics of what is supposed to be paid to the federal government. You have at the state level a situation where the joint tax boards are working harmoniously with all the state in such a way that if I reside in a particular place and you deduct my tax in another area because of ignorance, this can be remitted to the right places where those taxes are made for. I think the advent of technology is assisting in devoiding the issue of multiple taxation by individual. So everyone knows the definition of what is supposed to collect at every point in time. The area where most taxpayers always get it wrong, and we ask them to improve on, is the area of them defining the right description of what is specific money is meant for, so that you know whether you can send the tax even to the federal government or the state. But the advent of technology has eased and reduced drastically what we call multiple taxation, and proper enlightenment that is being carried out this day has assisted a lot of organizations and individuals to do what is right and avoid multiple taxation. The key thing that you need to know is, first and foremost, for a limited liability, even individuals, you're supposed to have your TIN number. When you have your TIN number, it assists you to redirect how tax payments are being done. Also, you should be able to have deep knowledge while you are making some of these imputations. Take, for example, those that are in the informal sector. When you collect money from certain individuals that you're supposed to make deduction, and you're not having the right description, by the time the taxpayer comes, they assume everything. There are certain things that are not supposed to be part of your turnover, but because the right descriptions are not there, it devoid you of benefiting for exemption in those areas. So what we always ask is that have understanding, have proper documentation of what you're supposed to do. And with that, you discover that even when you now engage the service of a professional, it will assist them to streamline those taxes that you're supposed to pay, those that you're supposed to exempt from, and areas where those taxes are supposed to be remitted to. So the fundamental still goes that individual, corporate organization should look for a way to engage professional, either as their staff or you get them as consultants to guide you so that you can have the best in terms of taxes.
Taxes on goods imported or manufactured are collected by the Customs and Excise Department. Tax revenues are collectible by the state government. But what are the various types of collectible taxes, and how does it apply to individual taxpayer? Perhaps proper enlightenment and education by various revenue collection agencies is the first step to addressing the gap. Confusion about different types of taxes amongst taxable Nigerians have continued to gain prominence, as most of them misunderstood what taxes are from what levies and duties are. While there are different types of taxes, levies and duties cannot be said to be the same. Perhaps these clear distinctions might put an end to misconception about multiple taxation and encourage more taxpayers to consistently remit their taxes in order to create a seamless and transparent system that encourages business growth and accountability in the filing of annual tax returns for an individual or company.
Hey, Gloria, come. Yes. Guess what?
What's up?
Oh, yes. I just got my offer letter from Mnet for the movie I sold to them.
Wow.
Yes, wow.
That's great news.
I know.
So how much are they offering?
They're offering 2 million naira with 12 months paid TV exclusive.
Wow, that's fair.
But wait. When you sold your movie to them, did they take tax from you?
Listen, every filmmaker who has sold content to Africa Magic already knows this. Mnet is a corporation, so deducting and collecting tax is a requirement for them by the government.
But the thing is, if they take tax from the 2 million naira they are offering, how would I be able to get my capital back?
Dude, don't be greedy.
I'm not.
It's still the tax talk, and having checked out the big story, it's time for us to hit the street and sample people's opinions on tax-related issues. Today, let's find out from Lagosians about tax compliance. Have you paid your tax? When last did you pay? Voice on the Street is up next.
I do, but for some time now, I've not been paying. I saw many things as double taxing. So that has been the major problem. You pay tax from your, what do you call it? From the so-called reduction in your bank account. Still yet, you are being taxed again for the work you have done. So I see that as multiple tax.
Very important to tax appropriately for development of the system and keeping people's that is security for the people. That's why it is necessary for tax. I do. I must surely pay my tax. I'm a public servant. I pay to the government directly.
I pay my tax, but I'm compelled to pay the tax because I'm not benefiting what I'm being paid for.
I'm not working yet, so I don't pay tax. If you see a lot of things that happen here, and the only way that can happen is by you paying your own and I pay my own. So it's our civil responsibility to pay our taxes.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed Voice on the Street. We dealt with the issue of multiple taxation on the big story today. That's where we draw the curtain on today's show. You can follow us on all our social media handles as listed on the screen. Remember that here on the Tax Talk, our aim is to educate and inform you on matters centered around the issue of tax administration. My name is Oyinlola Saleh. Be sure to join me next time. Bye for now.